Music is like root work. Magic that's pulled up from the soil. It echoes on the stony hills and spins in the tall grass by the sea. It soothes the savage beast and pierces the soul of a man. Music is that old witchcraft. It writes your true name on a scrap of paper and makes you dance undignified like King David. This is the Hoodoo Music Podcast.
This is the Hoodoo Music Podcast, and this is the 10th episode. We are now in double digits. So that means this show's actually been running for 20 weeks, which is pretty cool. I'm actually very excited about that. My guest this episode is Rigor Morris. What's up?
How's it going?
Oh, man. It's going. Why don't you, you normally have a band, but tonight you had kind of a solo show. So why don't you, can you describe, how would you describe your sound?
Whenever I'm playing solo shows, I usually refer to it as spooky soul or like a kind of a goth blues kind of thing.
I can see that.
And then, of course, when I play with my whole band, it ends up actually having more of like almost like a surfy feel to it. But,
interesting. Kind of a, yeah.
Yeah.
Surf rock, and it seems like some of your songs almost have like the B-horror theme a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's kind of fitting with that that genre.
Yeah, I try to keep things nice and dark.
Yeah, it's fun. It's sort of a lighthearted darkness.
Yeah, kind of like, I don't know, like poking fun at myself for being, kind of one of those dark goth kind types. I don't know.
Sure.
Really what you would call me.
That's all right. What's actually, why don't we just jump straight in? Okay. This first song, what's it called? And, give us an idea of where you wrote it from or what's it kind of about? What's the story?
Okay. The first song is called That Sound in the Forest. And I really just kind of wanted to write like a spooky theme song. Just kind of a really kind of cheesy thing. And it actually stemmed from a joke that someone made, probably 10 years ago. I was hanging out and they said, that sound in the forest must be Star Morris, which is my real name. So whenever I started writing songs for Rigor Morris, that just kind of became a whole thing. So it's really just kind of a goofy song, but I would consider it my theme song.
I don't arrive, I materialize when a bad moon is on the rise. The hair stands up on the back of your neck. Can't you pray our paths don't intersect? Does my presence chill to the bone? Are you afraid that I'll turn you to stone? The lights start to flicker when I enter the room, and the air is filled. No
long have you been playing piano?
I started playing piano probably around, I want to say 7 or 8 when I got my first real piano. Before that I was playing, like even when I was a toddler, I had like, little Yamaha mini keyboards that they had in the 80s. So that's kind of how I started messing around with it. And then my parents decided that, if I was able to figure stuff out on there, that maybe I'd be able to play a real piano. So they sat me down at one day and I just started playing stuff, and they were like, okay, well, let's pursue this. So. Oh,
cool. So you had sort of a natural proclivity.
Yeah. I just kind of picked it up.
Yeah. That's cool. It's interesting when you talk to people who play instruments. Usually there is just some natural ability to play by ear, or you kind
exactly.
of pick things out. Like I know I started that when I was young too.
Yeah.
What made you start writing your own songs? Where did that come about?
Honestly, when I was younger and I started first playing piano, I was just learning other people's songs, stuff like that. I didn't really ever start writing my own stuff until about 10 years ago, back in the days of MySpace. I had a MySpace band page that I kind of started at first as a joke. It was called Morris-tician because at the time I was in funeral school. And so I was writing a lot of like just weird electronic songs using Fruity Loops and, kind of using my textbooks to do like voiceovers and stuff like that. And I actually ended up using a lot of those songs to rewrite the songs that I'm doing now, like kind of as a demo almost.
That's cool.
So it's kind of a throwback to me 10 years ago.
So has there always been kind of a fascination with the macabre?
Yeah, definitely. Even when I was little, I was obsessed with like Alfred Hitchcock and, all those like kind of late night Nick at Night shows that they would show when I was little, like Bewitched and The Addams Family, Munsters, all that stuff. So I just kind of grew up loving everything dark and dreary and doom and gloom.
Everything's spooky.
Yep.
That's really cool. So it naturally just sort of became what you would write about, I assume, because...
it just kind of evolved that way. And I don't know, here I am still writing about weird stuff.
Sure. Well, does it ever kind of come from somewhere personal?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think if you really listen to, my songs and the lyrics and stuff, it's apparent that, I struggle with like issues like depression and stuff like that. And I tend to use that as kind of like a place to come out of, like music is a good way to kind of express that without it being like a destructive thing. A lot of my songs, are goofy, I write like, kind of campy stuff, but then you have the other ones that are a little more, slower songs that have a little bit more emotion behind them.
Sure. But there's still some catharsis coming out of it, even when it's goofy, using humor as that catharsis. It's pretty cool. Well, so what's this next one you had for us?
The next one is actually one of the more depressing ones. It's Little Black Cloud, and this song, this is one of the ones that actually I wrote the music for about 10 years ago, and then I just wrote the lyrics this past year. It's a pretty, metaphorical piece just about, I guess it's a weather-themed song. But, when somebody kind of calls you the little black cloud that follows them around in their life, and you kind of take that and run with it, that's what the song's about.
As the darkness approaches, the atmospheric pressure is dropping fast. Latch the doors and shutter all the windows. This eerie calm won't last.
So you describe your sound as kind of a spooky soul. So, there's some obvious influence out there, but what other kind of influences musically do you have?
Musically, honestly, a lot of my influences are probably like totally random things that you wouldn't necessarily associate with my sound. I mean, I listened to a lot of like Smashing Pumpkins, grunge rock, stuff like that back in the 90s. So that's, where a big chunk of me comes from. But I also like, a lot of classic rock. Pink Floyd is a big influence on me. I also, as far as like vocally, I'm a big fan of Ella Fitzgerald. Jazzy stuff like that. Sarah Vaughan.
I wanted to point out that, I recognize a lot of, there's a lot of jazz influence in the way you sing.
Yeah, that's like those the voices that came out of that era are just, I don't know, that's what I've always wanted to sound like. I mean, and, I'm no Ella Fitzgerald, but, I think I can do my thing my way, sure. The way that she did her thing her way.
Sure. Part of the process of making music is, taking things that you've heard but making it your own.
Exactly.
Well, what sort of things inspire you to actually? Because you've mentioned that you write the music usually first, and then you kind of write lyrics to it. Yeah. Does it always work that way, or is it sometimes?
It just kind of depends. Sometimes lyrics will come to me and I don't really have a song behind them, and then I'll end up writing a song and then thinking, okay, well, how can I fit these two things together? But a lot of times it just hits me at, random times. Like either I'll get like, a certain riff stuck in my head, or sure. Certain lyrics will just pop out to me, and I carry around a little book and write everything down.
Well, so when you're writing music, when you sit down to the piano, where does your mind typically go?
Really? Like I'll have like kind of a theme in mind, and I'll just kind of sit around and kind of mess around until something sounds right. And then it usually just kind of comes together. It's kind of weird. I can't really explain it. It's just something that kind of, it's like it just occurs to you to play it this way, and everything just kind of comes together.
Sure. Well, is there a story at all behind this next one?
The next one is Get Weird. This is probably another one of my goofier songs, but it's actually kind of based on something serious. Like, I mentioned my, mental health struggles earlier, and a lot of times when you're in treatment for things, they put you on, different medications to kind of test out
sure.
how they go, and sometimes it doesn't go so well, and there's been a few times in the past few years where, something affected like the way that I thought or felt. And this song is it's almost like poking fun of the way that you kind of have to step back from yourself and be like, okay, well, if everything seems like it's getting weird around you, you kind of have to just step back and remember, that sometimes those chemicals can kind of trigger things that may or may not be necessarily what's real. So I don't know. It sounds like a really depressing story behind it, but I really just mean it as kind of like a, something that you just deal with when you're in treatment. I mean, you deal with that with any illness, really. Medication is always a tricky bastard.
Messing around late at night, trying to keep my mind alright. I feel the call of the other side, an open door, worlds collide, and the dweller on the threshold abides. When things get weird, you can't believe everything you hear. When things get weird and the turn is near, toss and turn in my bed, quiet
performing, playing shows, stuff like that, what do you get out of that?
I feel like when I play shows, I mean, it's actually really terrifying for me, like every single time. Like, I mean, my stage fright has gotten better, as I play more and more shows and I get more comfortable with it. It's really given me kind of a sense of like being, I don't know, like part of the community, I guess. Whereas like I'm kind of a homebody. I don't tend to go out too much, but now I have all these musicians that I'm connected to, and whenever I'm on stage, it's like, I become, I'm not like this, depressed, anxious mess anymore. I'm Rigor Morris, and I think that helps me a lot to, have that kind of persona to lean on, I guess.
Sure. No, that actually makes a lot of sense. It's a coping strategy, it seems like. Do you plan to take it further than just, because I mean, obviously you find community in it and you're playing around locally. Do you plan to expand outward at all? Do you ever play out of town? Or
I haven't played really outside of Greenville yet, or the greater Greenville Spartanburg area. I want to. I'm definitely trying to get out to like maybe like Columbia, Charleston, Asheville, places like that. Right now it's mostly a transportation issue. So once I get my, car situation, ideally I'd like to, just kind of go around and just kind of see what people think. I'm also trying to kind of hold off on playing out too much until I get some recordings done, which I'm hopefully going to be doing this year sometime. I don't really have like a firm date on that. But once I get my album recorded and, stuff like that, I think it would be nice to, just go to new places and play in places to people who I've never seen before.
Sure. To kind of, I guess, make that community a little bit bigger.
Exactly. Because you never know, who you're going to meet, that's going to lead you somewhere else. And, once you make connections in a town, then you can kind of expand from there. And next thing you know, you're all over the place.
Well, so you had one more song. Any particular story, anything behind this one?
The song's called Dollhouse, which is actually a name that I hate. I never got around to renaming it because this is one of those songs that I wrote the lyrics for after I wrote the music, and I rewrote the lyrics to the song at least 3 or 4 times, and I just kept not being happy with it. But I had already named it for my original idea for the song. But it ended up actually being probably my most depressing song. It's just, it's real slow and kind of, real honest, just kind of a raw emotional song, I guess.
Wake up, feeling sick. Try to remember why I stick around for this shit. And every day's the same. Like I'm forced into another round of a losing game. The wires are crossed, the connection is lost, my skin is crawled. I've succumbed to the sadness. There's a certain comfort in the madness as it waxes and wanes. Appearances becoming so hard to maintain. Send a loop in my mind. No
Well, Star, thank you so much for doing the show. I really enjoyed having you on here.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
This has been really fun.
Yeah, and I enjoyed your sound. I was kind of bopping my head along a little bit listening to while you were recording it. So, yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. Where can people find you online? What's your social media presence like, or where can people maybe hear video or watch videos, hear anything you have?
Well, I'm on everything. I'm on. I've got Bandcamp. It's rigormorris.bandcamp.com. I got a Facebook page. I'm on Twitter at the Rigor Morris. I'm also on YouTube as the Rigor Morris, and I have a few videos up, mostly just me goofing around on cover songs. A few weeks ago, I did a playlist of songs from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, so I'm always doing just goofy stuff on there.
Well, cool. Again, thank you so much for coming on the show. This show you can find everywhere. It's on all the podcast platforms, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all of them. Easiest way to subscribe is to go to bit.ly/Hoodoo Music Podcast. You'll also find links to the YouTube channel where I regularly post videos from some of the artists that come on the show. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Mark Jones Audio. Make sure you check out the Rigor Morris Facebook page. It's facebook.com/The Rigor Morris. And once again, thank you so much for listening to the Hoodoo Music Podcast.
Lay down Hoodoo music on.